Today, I want to give you guys kind of like a basic guide, tips and trick video for the Alpha Wave Caverns. Because the thing is, in Alpha Wave 1, we was able to experience what the caverns was like, right? We was able to farm heroes, we were able to farm sets of gear, we were able to do pretty much quite a lot in the game and get a good idea of what the core fundamentals is. However, many people were getting tripped up and not understanding how to take advantage of this. And the thing is, Alpha Wave 2 might have a different floor setup. However, it might follow the same philosophy as Wave 1. So smash a like, comment and subscribe. Let's dive into the basics that you're going to need to actually excel in this Alpha Wave 2 that you might have signed up for and you have been invited in. Because the thing is, each of one of these floors you'll notice is numbered 1 to basically 10, and that is super important because each one of these stages has specific rewards that you can get. And the thing is, the lower you go or higher you go, they typically stay on the same type of rewards, but maybe the set changes or the natural reward changes. So just to example this, if we go all the way down to 1, as you'll notice, is going to give me helmets. If I go over here, this is going to give me chests, and you can go to the reward preview and see what it's going to drop. So this is going to show you all the possibilities that it's going to drop in that stage. Stage 3, you'll notice, is going to drop all of your pauldrons, and again, same kind of jazz here. Then stage 4 is going to be your gauntlets. Stage 5 is pretty good, because stage 5 is actually where you're able to technically farm heroes. Every 5th and 10th stage, so that means stage 5 and stage 10, are technically your best type of stages to farm heroes. That's what it was on Alpha Wave 1, and this could be very similar on Alpha Wave 2. So when you're ever trying to farm maybe that Hercules or the Ra, Anubis that you've been wanting for your team, make sure you're farming the highest stage, like 20, 40, 60, 80, whatever you can farm without failure, because that's going to give you your best odds at getting heroes. Moving back down though, you'll notice coming into stage 6, we've got legs. Stage 7, we've got boots. And then stage 8 is when things start getting interesting, because we've got our heroes here, but it's all about weapons as well as either maybe imprints and all that type of jazz. So here on stage 9, we're gaining these god steels, which are used to again upgrade weapons. And if you go over here, you can see god steels are rare with heroes and spirits. So each one of these stages, as I'm trying to get through to you, is going to have some sort of reward. And if you're looking for specific rewards, definitely check out the reward preview. One thing that you do need to take note of as well with the reward preview is if you're looking for certain sets of gear. So if we go down to like stage 23 here, you can see these 3 different set symbols. This means you're able to farm either the speed gear, the initiative gear, or the critical damage gear, because this is the, I think, the eagle, the jaguar, and I forgot what the speed one's called, right? I do apologize for that. But that is how it works. If we go back down, even to like this stage 43, we're going to be getting crit, we're getting invoker, and accuracy-based set pieces. So you can see each one of these stages at 1 to 10 have their roles. Then there is what I'm going to call your boss floors, which is, like I said earlier, stage 50, stage 40, stage 30, stage 20. However, out of those boss floors, you will meet the big boy. So this is stage 60, there is the golden golem, and at stage 90 is going to be Fafnir, right? The big dragon that you're going to have to fight. These 2 stages alone are basically true boss stages, and typically when you look at their rewards, they give you some really good actual rewards. These ones also give you guaranteed legendary drops, and you'll notice these type of floors give you either helmet, chest, pauldrons, gauntlets, legs, or boots in those sets. So if you kind of want to farm a bit of anything and everything, This is one way you can actually do that. You can kind of go through all of that jazz. But it doesn't stop there. If we go to the Golden Golem all the way up into the good old stage 60 here, this boss is actually the best boss, confirmed by Hell Hades on the Discord as well, to actually generate you gold. So if you need gold to, you know, upgrade gear, upgrade your heroes, whatever you need that gold resource for, if you go to your stage 60, or if you go higher up, which is stage 120, which we go all the way up here, and you fight our good friend, the Golden Golem, that's going to allow you to farm the most gold. And this is because when we go into his actual skills and stuff here, you're going to be hitting and dealing damage to our good old friend, the Golden Golem. But the way this works is when you're attacking this enemy, basically, and you're attacking him, you're going to be applying this bounty. The bounty is going to increase the damage that he deals, but at the end of the fight, the more bounty that you have and you've successfully killed the Golden Golem with, the more gold you generate. So if you're able to do multiple attacks in one turn and do little damage, it's actually a bonus for generating gold if you're able to kill it. So just remember that. If you're trying to get gold specifically, farm your good old stage 120. When you look at all the other stages, especially the highest stages in this area, you'll notice you'll start to farm the like scrolls more often, and even the ascension stones needed here to actually ascend your heroes from like a 5-star hero into like a pink 5-star heroes. If I go over here, you'll notice I've got some gold stars and I've got some pink stars. Every hero is gold at the start, but if you want the pink stars, you need to ascend them through upgraded, and that's how we get those stones, by just doing a simple, you know, boom. So there we are, ascended, right? So you can farm all of those. So that's the biggest first thing I would always say. I always will say, if you're playing Alpha Wave 2, get that in your head, because the thing is, in Alpha Wave 2, like I said at the beginning of this video, the stage setup could be completely different. And I do believe they have plans on changing certain things around and so on. So everything that's been in Alpha Wave 1 could be completely different in terms of reward. However, the setup is going to be basically, theoretically, the same. So we're going to have stages that do heroes, stages that do armor, stages that do certain resources, right? So from there, what's the next big and thing that you need to know? So the next big thing that I would say is learning heroes and kind of what you kind of want to do with heroes. So the biggest trap that I even fell into right at the beginning, and you don't need to do this at all, is with your gear. So you'll notice my gear here, I've got kind of one piece of each, and that actually isn't bad at all, because what you're trying to do is find gear at the start of the game with the best stats at base that you're looking for. So speed is a very important stat, because speed means you can actually have your turn faster than anyone else. So having higher speed means your team can act first while the enemy team has to wait their turn. And this can be really good in obviously like PvE scenarios when you're locking down targets with freeze or even confuse, right? So equipping the main stats is going to be the priority. Get that priority on the march. Once you've done that, and you've actually technically got the best stats that you could possibly get on your armor for your hero, that's when you start to go down the set piece bonuses. If you're trying to get some set piece bonuses, that's when you go down that route. So if we look at down like a Gilgamesh here, you can see I'm actually running a 4-piece crit bit. It's all crit chance, and then crit damage, right? It's all I'm running. But you'll notice everything I'm running is what I care about. It's literally the only things I care about in terms of stats, even though they're not that high. They are the things that I care about, especially stuff with Hecker that combos in. So when it comes to gear, honestly, at the start, just equip whatever is going to be the best set of gear that you're going to be able to use for stats. Now, carrying on with gear is my next tip and trick, and it is to do with the growth of your gear. So you'll notice I've got typically gear ranking 3, and sometimes I've had to use these 2s, but what I do try to do is use gear 3, gear 4s mainly, and gear 5. What I'm talking about is, if you look at any of these gears, at the very top corner is this little Roman numeral. This is the tier or the quality of your gear, and the higher quality gear you have, the better your growth rate is on your stats. So can I actually easily show that off by just going with this tier 1 piece of gear and put it to like level 10. It's going to cost me 98,000 gold, and you'll see that I'm on 1710 HP. But if we go even to our other piece that we had, right, our level 2, this is also HP. If we enhance that by the same amount, you can see I'm already gaining more HP. And this is the same with even the bases. So if we go out of this area and then come back up, you will notice our 1 and 2. So if we go 1, our base rates are pretty low. If you look at base 2, they're still low, but it's a little bit better because I've rolled well on the speed. But if you start looking at like 3, they're higher. If you look at 4, they're even higher. And then obviously when you get to 5, they're even higher, right? So when it comes to gear, don't think about always trying to upgrade your gear to like plus 16 if it's not really like a tier 3 or tier 4 or higher piece of gear. Honestly, tier 2 and tier 1, you don't grow enough, and that means when you go to enhance it, the max I would do is either stage 10 or 12. The only time I would go to level 16 or higher, you know, like level 12 or higher, is on, like I said, tier 3, 4, or 5 pieces of gear. So that's the next big thing. The next big tick and trip that I honestly want to say to all of you guys is don't ignore your food heroes. I know you guys probably will be upset, and this will change in, I think, later down the road. There's going to be better mechanics to make this easier, but when you are playing Alpha Wave 2, the biggest tip and trick is don't just ignore these common heroes, because the thing is with these common heroes, what you are going to be wanting to do at some point is upgrade them, because you can upgrade them, as you'll notice, to like a 4-star hero. And if we just kind of use our little bits and bats here to upgrade them and then promote, oh, we need to put one more in, promote, then we have a 4-star hero, and this guy can then, as you would imagine, be used to upgrade my actual hero. So if I want to level up Odin, I can now use that hero that we've just 4-starred, and he's only need to be level 30 in order to do that. The same thing if you want to try and get a 5-star hero or a 6-star hero, right? You're going to need to do the same thing, but with the commons, but up to level 50, right? Which is what we're going for here. So don't ignore those heroes. Honestly, I know at the moment, I think at the final products, maybe in beta and obviously in global launch, this might be different and it might be changed from how it works currently in game. But for Alpha Wave 2 and Alpha Wave 3, this is the system that's going to be in place for leveling heroes. So don't ignore, again, all of these heroes. The final tip and trick I'm going to give you guys for today's video before we end things is the best way to actually farm XP, because you can farm XP really well on stages that end on a 9. So any stage that ends on a 9, and even obviously stage 10s, are going to give you the best amount of XP in the game. 10s are a little bit more difficult because they are boss levels, but if you are able to really quickly clear a 109 or, you know, a 119, you're going to gain an absolute truck ton of XP. And the way you can actually do this is by putting in heroes that are all max level. So when you put in heroes max level in this game, what happens at the end of the fight, instead of sharing out all the XP to all of the different heroes, what it does is actually puts all of that XP that overflows and gives you it, so you can actually use it to upgrade any of your heroes at your pleasure. It gives you more customizability, more flexibility with your XP, but in order to do that, you need to make sure all heroes are max level. If you don't do that, all of the XP will funnel into whatever hero needs to level up. I need to make that clear. This could change. This could change in the good old, obviously, Alpha Wave 2. But as of now, in Alpha Wave 1, which we did this recording on, that is unfortunately how it works. So apart from that, that's going to be today's video on Godforge, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the Godforge content on the second channel that I've made purposely for this game, because I've been absolutely loving it, and I really do want to be part of this community that plays turn-based games, because I have come fully addicted to playing this game. So if you enjoyed the content, smash that comment and subscribe, guys. Until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, peace out.